Okay, here we are at project number 5. This is going to be another color wheel, but this is going to be the tints in acrylic. So we'll very quickly step through all of the preceding steps, of course. You want to have all of your materials gathered together, and you want to find or cut out your board and save your scrap. Find the center of your board by, making your diagonal. Draw out your arcs where we did before, inside and outside. Tape off your board. Make sure that you've got all the tape overlap. Cut out the outside and the inside line and peel the tape away very carefully so you don't wound the board as much as possible. And then you should be pretty much ready to go. All right. Now, note that I have the colors arranged very similar to the way I did in the previous color wheel, and that I've got in the pure hue, and that I now have added white, and that's on another plate here to the right. You guys, probably will be doing something a little bit different with your palettes, but anyway, we have all of the colors arranged up there. We have the cadmium red medium, we have the magenta, we have the ultramarine blue, we have cyan, and we have primary yellow. I'm going to have you do another version of this, but we'll get to that at the end. So then, what I want you to do first is to mix cadmium red with magenta and then add some white to it so that you get a pretty nice pink. And I want you to apply that at about the 11 to 12 o'clock position. Add a little bit more of the cadmium red and white and apply this going from about the 12 to the 1 o'clock position. So this is going to be the warmer side of the red. There's the previous one was the cooler side of the red. And then I want you to mix some primary yellow. You have to clean your brush out first, but mix some primary yellow and white and get a kind of a nice light yellow and put that at about the 4 o'clock mark. And then add some primary yellow, the cad red and white together and get a kind of a washed out tint of an orange and put that around the 3 o'clock position. And then I want you to begin blending the orange towards the red to get your red-orange tint. And then mix from the yellow to the orange. Then I want you to, using the cyan and primary yellow, create a good green and add some white to it, and you'll get when you add the white, you'll end up with a very light green. And apply that at about the 6 o'clock position, which is directly below red on the color wheel. And then blend towards the yellow, again trying to eliminate lines. The lines in the tint version tend to be, of this project, tend to be a little more difficult to eliminate, so just be patient and make sure that your paint is kind of mixed a little bit on the wet side and do a lot of blending. Again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to achieve a rainbow and not distinct lines between the colors. Now add some cyan and white around the 8 o'clock mark, and then mix back towards the green to create the blue-green tint. And finally, mix the magenta and cyan to get a good purple, and then add some white to it, and you'll end up with a pretty nice violet. And you'll apply this at around the 10 o'clock position. And blend towards the red to get the red purple, and then again towards the blue to get the blue purple. Again, the tricky part is going to be getting the lines out between the colors. I don't know why, but the tints tend to be a little bit more sensitive to that. But when you've got them all good and blended like this, let it dry, or use the heat gun or the hair dryers to dry it real good. I've noticed that the hair dryers and the heat gun tend to make the tape a little bit soft and easier to peel up off your board. That may just be my impression. I'm not sure, but see what you think. It tends to not be as damaging to the board after you've applied some heat to it. Now carefully peel the tape away from the outside and then from the inside, and you should end up being able to have something that looks like this, and I want you to label it like that. This is going to be the magenta primary yellow cyan version, but I also want you to create another version using cadmium red, cadmium yellow, and ultramarine blue mixed with white, and it will look like this. Notice the lack of distinction from the blue to the purple. This may be the same problem that we're experiencing with the pure hue color wheel, where it's more dark on that side and there seems to be less distinction. I'm going to back up here real quick and show you the other one. Notice that you can really see a lot of distinction from the blue-green all the way up to the purple in this one. It tends to look a little bit better than this version, where everything it just kind of flows into one another. But anyway, I want you to try both versions so that you have a version that's done correctly using Scott Naismith's formula, and the old way that they used to have us do it, which was this way. So that's the assignment for this week. Next week we're going to be getting into shades, and that'll be up next. Okay, that's it for now.